Oh, no. Hello. It's the Minnesota Podcast. I'm Molly Burke. I'm here with my co-host, Jason McGovern. And today, I'm so excited. It's a really special edition. Not only because it's April Fool's Day. I don't know what makes it that special.
I actually hate that aspect of it.
Do you?
But,
I kind of like it.
I hate pranks.
I was thinking all the
and stupid shit on
practical
April
things
Fool's
I
Day.
could do, practical jokes I could do, and I couldn't think of any.
Well, thank you for showing up and not making that be one of them.
I'm not a practical joker.
That would have been really annoying. I just show up at the studio. All right, doing the show by myself.
My jokes are only pure wit. We are here with one of my favorite dudes in the whole world.
Oh,
Sam,
thank you.
Sam Gondek.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank
to
you
the
guys for having
show. We're excited to have you on.
Mm-hmm.
Sam is here to talk about a really awesome event called Nurse Fest, which we will get to in a minute. But what are we drinking tonight, guys?
I'm still on the 3rd Street. I'm still doing that brown trout because it's in the fridge. So that's what I'm on.
I also
I didn't want to bring my own tonight.
a 3rd Street too. So.
You're doing the what? The paleo?
I'm doing the paleo.
Yep,
Yeah.
can't argue with that. And then what are we? Oh my God, we've got some whiskey over there, don't we?
We have, well, yes.
That's good whiskey.
There's
too.
whiskey in the studio. I brought my standard bullet bourbon.
That's your standard. That's your
my
go-to
standard.
bourbon.
That's my go-to.
Now that's a $7.50. What does that cost?
25.
Okay, all right. What is that in relation to Maker's Mark? Similar.
So I would say I still like Makers the best, but Makers is a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
And this is a good mix thing to do, like a whiskey sour with, like a fresh whiskey sour with lemon and bitters. And
So
like
if you're going to go straight, you would go Makers.
I would go Makers, but either of them are good for what I like, which is whiskey sours normally.
Or
Okay.
if you're going to drink it with a grapefruit LaCroix, I guess that's the one you go with, right?
That part I can't get down with, but I'm just. I
Oh,
was
would you
trying
like
to.
to try it?
I was
Here,
just
try it.
Actually, yeah, I should just.
There you go. Yeah, instead of bitching about it.
Don't make me laugh while I'm trying to sip. Jesus.
Okay.
Tastes like whiskey water. Like I mean,
Okay.
what flavor is the?
It's great. It's grapefruit.
I don't taste any grapefruit. I just taste whiskey water. It actually
Almond
tastes
mousse.
great.
Papal mousse
Apple mousse.
doesn't make it sound any better, does it?
No, nope, that does
Actually makes
not
it
help
sound
you.
worse.
That did not help you. Anyway,
Oh my god.
as we have the lightning storm going on outside, by the way, guys, this is so
do.
cool. I wish we could open both these windows. I don't know if we can. I think no, we'll take down the sign if I do that. We
yeah,
can't
don't
open
do that.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the thunder as we're
fucking
speaking.
cool.
Oh my god.
This is some serious April Fool's weather, though, man. Like, this is crazy.
No, this is not typical Minnesota weather by any means. But God, do I love it! And watching that lightning storm on the way in here, it was beautiful.
So cool. It's 80 degrees out and it's humid. And
Just gorgeous.
Sitting inside Bennett's tonight doing the Jeff DeBay show, we were literally just sweating balls. Like it's just disgusting out right now, and it's April 1st. Like you can't. This is not. I'm expecting this in July. I'm humid. It feels humid right now.
I was
like I'm
just
hot
saying,
in here.
This is Nurse Fest weather, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Speaking
gorgeous.
of which, then that's not till what? August?
August 1st, yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here to talk about, right? Well, why don't you? This is your
Actually,
deal.
Little
Well,
segment.
I know everything, so I think you need to ask the question.
Okay. Well, but that's what I was in doing prep today. I was going to go and just read everything on the website, but I said no. I'd rather come at this from the listener's perspective.
You gotta
and have
come
no
at
idea
it.
what I'm getting into.
Totally.
So. What the fuck are we talking about? What is it? Why are we going? Yeah, I'm going. It's I know it's at Harriet Brewing. It's in Minneapolis. That's a cool ass brewery. Is it going to be like in the backyard part? That huge opening
So
they
they're
have
gonna,
out there.
They're going to fence everything off. It's going to be like any of their outdoor music series too. So the idea of Nurse Fest really came.
Get
about.
right up on that mic too. Don't be afraid.
Get right up on it.
there. Yep.
Get right up.
Just
on
There
it.
you go.
There.
Yeah,
You guys
there
like
you go.
Listen to that.
Oh,
Listen to how much
That
better
voice,
that sounds.
Oh man, that is a lot nicer. So the idea of Nurse Fest, we really came up with it about 3 years ago. Me and two buddies, two that I actually live with too, had this idea. We kept going to music festivals every summer, and we wanted to kind of bring that atmosphere back to a house party. So we always, I guess to even take it back further, the biggest issue that I have with house parties, even through college and kind of afterwards too, was, you have a great group of people there, maybe it's small to start, and you have like the same musical taste kind of secluded to that one house, right? So you have one type of music or one sound, so you have a vibe of a party, right? Then as people start drinking, different people start coming in, they start messing with the Spotify, they start messing with different music. So you have girls going up, putting on the top 40, and you have guys coming up like, oh, no, it has to be bluegrass. So we listen to bluegrass for 3 songs, then you get iPod clipped off of it, and then all of a sudden you're listening to rap for 4 songs, and by the end of it, everyone's like, well, let's just leave, because the vibe, like,
There's no vibe left
anymore. And everyone's so erratic, and everyone's kind of fighting over music, and everyone's kind of drunk at that point, so you always just go to the bar afterwards, right?
Yep.
It kills every house party. It's awful, right? So we thought, well, why don't we come up with an idea to kind of emulate what a music festival would be, but kind of put it in the backyard too. So what we did was we started inviting our friends over. We got food and drinks, and we served it all to everybody. And what we would do is we would set up a lineup of music. So we would take... The first year was about 12 hours of music, and each band got a half-hour set. So if you can imagine it, we'd start at noon and we'd go to midnight. And at noon, Beyonce is going on, right? She's going to play noon to 12:30. Beyonce is going to play from noon to 12:30. After that, Trampled by Turtles is going to play. And at least from 12:30 to 1, all you're going to hear is Trampled by Turtles. So people can kind of read the set list on the wall and be like, all right, sweet. So I got to sit through, if you depending on your musical taste.
Right.
I got to sit through Van Morrison here for a half hour. But at least I get, on the backside, Daft Punk are going to play the next hour, or, whatever the case may be, too. So it kind of started organically like that, and we always raised food for it, and we tried to make it, all-inclusive, invite all of our friends, anybody that wanted to be a part of it that was spreading the Nersh Fest vibes, I guess you could say. And luckily, we've gotten enough, the first year we had about 80 to 100 people in our backyard. Last year, I think we closed between 200 and 250 through our door through the day.
Yeah.
So it just got to be too big. It's like we had cops come last year, and they were totally nice about it. They were awesome.
They were really cool
They
about
were
it.
really, really cool about it. But it just got to the point where it's like, you know what? We have this following. We have the website. We're a licensed nonprofit LLC. We have all these, people kind of supporting us, backing us. It's like, well, let's just go for it this year. So we teamed up with Harriet. We signed them on, or I guess we did a partnership with them about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then last week we confirmed our partnership with the MM Music Coalition too. So any proceeds from the festival this year are going to go straight to the MM Music Coalition, which will be pretty sweet.
And so what does the partnership with Harriet mean? Obviously you're there, but other than that, what does it mean?
So I think Harriet's always looking for, enthusiastic people to kind of team up with. They're always obviously looking for to fill their summer calendar too with different events. So
And they do they do music, they do food trucks out there.
They do music,
do a lot
they
of
do
cool
food
stuff.
trucks. Yeah, so that's it's a great resource not only for them helping us by co-sponsoring the event and letting us have it at their place, but also getting the permits for different live music, having the authority to help us book these bands. So we're going to have a live music atmosphere in it, intermixed with the streaming music type festival environment that we've kind of put together, as well as we're going to have vendors this year. And then additionally, they're going to kick in 5% of the proceeds for the day to the MM Music Coalition too, which is pretty sweet.
Okay, well, 2 things. So who's going to be live? What are you doing with live music?
So we're trying to have between 3 and 5. We're just still working through that right now. We're trying to get target between 3 to 5 live bands that are going to be intermixed throughout the day, and then in between their sets, we're going to have still that streaming music kind of platform.
And again, where it's scheduled, so everybody kind of knows what to expect when.
It's not going to be an erratic mix, right? It would be like our first band will go on from 2 to 3, and then there might not be a band going on until 5. So from 3 to 3:30, Queen's going to play. Obviously conjectured. I'll line up that. Sure. 3:30 to 4, again, like a Trample would play. And then we're going to just kind of
now, does that, like a good DJ doesn't just go from dance song to ballad.
Exactly.
Is it, so are you going to be doing that where you gradually kind of bringing it from like hip hop, and slowly bring it to like some kind of bluegrass and then bring it back to like rock?
Yeah. It's been, we've kind of fine tuned it after, you could probably imagine too, the first year you do it, you're just like, cool, well, I want to hear Jay-Z for a half hour, and then let's go into Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
And you kind of get there, and you're 5 o'clock, and you're like, well, that was weird. It's like that doesn't work.
At the time, it sounded great.
Yeah,
but...
exactly. It's like, well, we got to listen to Joe. I mean, that would be awesome. But then you kind of you realize that people, obviously, that are there a little bit later probably want to listen to something a little dancier, a little bit more upbeat. So we've definitely become a little bit more glib into that over the last couple of years. So.
And how does it work permission-wise with the playing of artists? I mean, even just your website, just going on there and seeing these major artists, it looks like they're coming.
Right.
Right. So is there a problem with that? Is there I mean, this is the first one where this is kind of outside of a house, right? So
yeah.
Do you know if there's any kind of licensing thing here where you could be in any kind of trouble?
We haven't ran into anything yet. Obviously, we've used some bands that are local in the past couple of years, as well as like live national acts. I mean, last year we had Queen on the lineup. Obviously Freddie Mercury's dead. Queen's not playing.
We're pretty sure Queen's not showing up.
Pretty sure. So we're definitely going to make it very clear on, I guess, our lineup cards and posters that we're going to put out this year that there'll be a difference between the live acts and the streaming acts. But at the same time, I mean, the whole vibe of it is let's just come together and enjoy this music too, right? I mean, if you see Nirvana on this poster, you know that they're not going to play, but at least you're like, oh, sweet. Well, at least I'm going to get a half-hour Nirvana where I can just go jam out in the corner, right?
Right.
Which is kind of the whole vibe of
And the
day.
whole vibe of Harry Brewing, I might add.
Yeah,
That place
exactly.
is so chill.
I know,
It's
I know.
so much fun.
No,
Yeah.
it's exactly. This is you couldn't have come up with a more perfect venue for it. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, and Harry, I've been there. I actually interviewed one of the brewers there for a show before this show ever developed for this beer cast that I was doing, and just the vibe sitting there. We went there at like 8:00 in the morning on a Tuesday, and it was still like I just could picture this place if there was live music and people just drinking great beer, and if you guys don't know, the theme over there is kind of Belgian. So if you're into that European style, the Belgian style, it's a totally different style of beer.
But it's really drinkable. I think that you can still have a good amount of it without getting like, ugh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how some beer you just feel full. I love
Well, and they
their
have
beer.
a bunch of different types too.
have
You
so
got
many
lighter
different
ones.
types.
You
It's
still got
awesome
IPA
beer.
type stuff. Yeah.
Right. And that was big for us too, is, this idea all came about in a backyard in the summertime in August, right? So it's like, we really don't want to move it indoors. We don't want to handicap kind of that sunshine, that vibe, that good summertime feel. So finding some place that had indoor and outdoor capabilities, as well as would take the alcohol off our hands, would take the food vendor, kind of take all the permits and stuff. That was a huge success just to kind of lock them down. And obviously, like you guys said, they're awesome guys. I mean, they love bluegrass. They love kind of the jammy scene, and they have a lot of live performances there throughout the summer. So, yeah, it was great.
Why is this nonprofit?
Honestly,
Other than I think that actually might be where you get away with it.
yeah, I mean, well, the thing is obviously it takes a lot of capital if you're going to put together a music festival from scratch, right? So the fact that we can team up with an MM Music Coalition, we can, we're not out to make money. It's something that we put together for fun. We used to put up all the funding together. Last year we had wristbands we put together. We were making, signage that we put up all over town. Obviously we put together a website and, all these different, things that we put forward for it without any type of kickback too. So I think it's just natural, right? If we can not only put on this event, get live music there, have all of our friends, family, and anyone else, since it's a public event this year, come and join us, and then still kind of give a kickback to them at music community. It's just going to come back around.
You know what though? If 2,000 people show up, I want to see if you're singing a different tune. I want to see if you're singing a different tune. You're looking at all that beer sale. You're like, fuck, I'm not getting a percentage.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's going to be a good test this year,
Same
I
with
suppose.
Harriet though too, right? If
Well,
they
yeah,
see that
they're
many people,
gonna-
they're
yeah,
gonna
they're gonna love it.
guys are gonna tweak this next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, can you tell us where the name came from? Nurse Fest.
Nurse Fest comes from Bill Nershi. He's the lead frontman of the String Cheese Incident. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that band at all. They're
I am not.
a jam band. They were around in the 90s, and I think they still do bit shows. I think they're headlining like 2 festivals here and there throughout. But it really came about. I wasn't present, unfortunately, for the naming convention. This was 2 years back at a place called Sweetwater Shakedown, which is a music festival up in Lutsen, Minnesota. So I don't know if you guys have ever been to Lutsen. You ever done like Papa
It's so
Charlie's
much
and that
fun.
whole scene?
Yeah.
So they used to have. They canceled it this year. We're hoping they bring it back next year. But
That was a
That was
good
a great sound
effect,
effect,
right?
yeah.
That sounded like a drop.
clip that, yeah. But yeah, so I had some friends. The 2 guys that I co-produced this with went up there, saw Bill Nershi, saw him kind of rocking out on the Papa Charlie stage, and they had seen him before too. Very memorably, he seemed pretty out of it and did a face plant while he was in a guitar solo, just right on an amp or something like that. But we kind of noted, he got up and he was smiling, and just kind of the vibe of this guy is that, it's just that kind of free love, just fun vibe where it's like, how could you not be happy seeing this guy play music? And if you guys ever get a chance, you should just look up some of his videos. But
For sure.
what a naming convention to name our festival after just a big Bill Nershi smile, right? So that's kind of where it came from.
I like that.
I love that name, Nurse Fest. Well, you can go to, and please add any more information for missing,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
nursefest.com, and I'd like to add in that,
There's that thunder
that's
again.
so fucking cool.
I hope that's coming across on mic. These mics
Oh,
do
it does-
not pick up much ambient noise, but I hope that's coming
I hope
across.
so,
Sounds
too.
cool.
So nursefest.com was designed by Adam Marks, who also did our logo.
Oh,
So
okay.
a little tie-in. Go to nursefest.com. Check it out, Jason. It looks really cool. Oh, wait.
I checked the website.
He's already been there.
Check it out.
Yeah, he's there.
I do minimal show prep. I don't do no show prep. Jeez.
I never know with him. You never know. Sometimes I show up and he has this blank stare on his face. No, but nursefest.com. And what else can we do to help get it going?
We just kicked off our Kickstarter this morning, so we have that up and running. Our goal is to raise, obviously when you run any type of nonprofit event, we got to raise the capital for operating expenses and just putting on the event to raise money for the charity too. So that's kind of what we're seeking right now. We have a Kickstarter goal of about $3,000, so we're hoping to get that in the next 60 days.
Dang,
we already
you need
have
some
275.
100% pure adrenaline for that.
Yeah, we certainly do. And, free banana pies to anybody that could, I guess signs up or donates with us too. Actually, Molly donated $100 to us, or no, $25 with us today. $25.
Scale it back.
100 sounds a lot better. Let's go with 100. Molly threw down a G real quick, because she's loaded.
Well, we have a payment plan for Molly.
She's got NurseFest on layaway.
That's $25 now. But yeah, so we got that going. Otherwise, you can follow us on Twitter, Bill or NurseFest at Twitter. I don't even use Twitter. I don't know why.
You're like Bill find us at cobb.com.
Or if you want to get involved from the musical side, Bill at nursefest.com. So
Perfect. Awesome. I'm so excited. It's gonna be a blast. It's been a blast in the past.
Or a blast from the past.
Wow.
Brendan Fraser.
She can rhyme, everybody. What is the day of the week? Is that a Saturday?
It
the first
is a
of August?
Saturday. Yep.
Okay.
It's actually my birthday, too. A little plug there.
Was that on purpose? Or that just happened to work out that way?
Harriet had the day open. So
nice.
It's
just
awesome.
happens to be a birthday party, too? That's pretty sweet.
Not only are my friends and family going to get hit up to join this music festival, but also it's my birthday, so they have to come. So
That's perfect.
Now, hold on, though. Are you pimping them on the Kickstarter, or are you still going for presents? What's more important to you, yourself or NurseFest?
I think Kickstarter. Because no matter
Right
what,
answer, no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what's coming out of your pocket,
any,
too.
Yeah, any gifts they give me, I'll probably just pawn them off for Kickstarter funding. So,
So just throw the cash directly in there, guys. Let's just go directly to the source. Do you have anything else you want to ask about the
Well,
NurseFest?
I'd just like
we
to
got
know-
plenty else to talk about.
I would like to note that Lollapalooza is completely sold out. So you can't go to Lollapalooza this year, people. You have to come to NurseFest. This is the much better alternate and much more inexpensive alternate.
So much cheaper.
And much
Wow.
more fun. So you know what? Fuck Lala this year, and everybody come to NurseFest. Sorry, I don't want. Is that going to be like a thing now that we start saying fuck Lala and go NurseFest?
I mean, if it's the same weekend, why not, right?
Right.
And NurseFest is free. That's the best part.
Yes,
So
it's free.
It's not like we're charging admission or anything like that, which will make it hopefully very easy for people to attend.
Definitely.
Drink that
No,
Belgian beer.
just come. Yeah, exactly. Spend all your money on the beer, and and they're bringing food trucks too. Then for that.
Yep, we're working on the vendors right now, so nothing's set in stone. But yeah, we're definitely trying
There'll
to
at least
get
be a couple out there,
Yeah,
yeah.
some food trucks there, as well as actual booths set up, selling different knickknacks and
Or just
fun stuff.
some grills.
Knickknacks.
Knickknacks.
I bet most people coming are looking for knickknacks. I mean, my mom's coming, so that'd
I
be
love
perfect.
knickknacks.
Yeah,
Do you seriously?
exactly.
Are you a
No, I
knickknack person?
actually fucking hate knickknacks.
No, but do you like collect them?
No, I don't
really
know
do
why
hate
I
them?
said that. I
Okay,
really
God.
don't like knickknacks.
Thank God. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We got plenty of else to talk about. And wow, the storm is kicking in. Yeah. We may lose power during the show here tonight.
We'll be
This
all
could be
right.
interesting. We'll be right back. The Minnesota Pubcast.
Legendary Minneapolis-St. Paul sports radio personality Jeff Dubé's energetic sports talk jumps right into the nitty-gritty local sports details you're looking for. No one else is delivering you sports news, current events, and guests with Dubé's gusto. Join him live at any of his bar perches or live streaming Monday through Wednesday only on the Alive and Social Network. Just go to JeffDubéShow.com. Join longtime radio personality and producer Kelly Guest and friend, CEO of Fantasy Gifts, Colleen Bertino, as they talk about all things sex, men, women. Lend them your ears and learn everything you wanted to know about sex and intimacy. Only here on the Alive and Social Network.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was good.
Should we turn the lights off in here?
No.
Would that scare you? Can you not handle that?
No, why are you talking like
Like
that?
it's fucking cool. I just like the storm.
Should we turn the lights off in here?
Yes. Literally, it would be lit up in here if we turned off the
What
lights.
is
That's
wrong
why I
with
say
you?
that. God, you're weird. What is wrong with wanting to enjoy the storm?
Should we
God, don't
turn the
yell at me
lights
for
off
that.
in here? You can turn one of the lights off if you want.
No, it's all good. What do you want to? I had the next thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't, and I knew better
Hey,
than
Jason,
that. What's up?
I'm pretty hot up in here. These headphones are running real high. How are your headphones,
A
Sam?
little high too.
They're
How's
a
that?
little high.
How's that? That
Yeah.
better?
Yeah.
All right.
They're perfect.
I just had it
that's
so
better.
low before that I wanted to make sure we could hear ourselves. Anyway,
Yeah.
Um,
I can definitely hear you.
you don't listen. You don't sit next to Dubé, who yells even though he's got a microphone
Yeah,
in front of him the
that's
whole
true.
time. So okay, like I was gonna say, what I wanted to talk about first tonight, other than what we brought our guest in tonight to talk about, was the discrimination law in Indiana. But I'm just not. I don't feel that vibe right now at all. So let's skip over that. Let's go to the Trevor Noah stuff. Trevor Noah is going to fill in or coming in as the new guy on the Daily Show for Jon Stewart. And he's already in trouble, and I don't know how much trouble he's in. How much? First of all, do you know about the controversy that we're talking, or that's kind of going around now? Small controversy.
I saw the release that he's going to fill in for Jon Stewart, and I saw a couple of his stand-up bits. I kind of just Googled them quick, but I didn't see, I guess, what he's getting in so much trouble for. I heard they're anti-Semitic jokes or something of that nature, but
Okay,
I
I'm gonna.
guess
Do you
I
have the
didn't see
tweets
it.
up?
Yeah, I can pull it up. Hold on one sec.
I can pull him up too, but yeah. He came under fire for anti-Semitic. Okay, supposedly anti-Semitic and anti-feminist or misogynist tweets, and I don't really know if that's the exact issue. Here, hang on, I'm pulling him up.
I know.
too.
I feel
God, we're just horrible.
we are
Googlers.
really good.
Super
We're
prepared.
really good at our job.
Okay.
You got it.
Mr. Noah has posted jokes about Jews and about Israel. And to note, he is from South Africa.
Right.
I don't know whether it's he's
And
black.
he's black. If
And
that
He's black and
matters.
he's, I don't know, but he's black and he's from South Africa, just to put into context. He wrote in 2009, almost bumped a Jewish kid crossing the road. I'm sorry, I'm already laughing. He didn't look.
They are all at least slightly funny. I will say that right now.
He didn't look before crossing, but I still would have felt bad in my German car. It's not that funny.
It's not that funny, but you get what he's going after.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's trying to be an anti-Semite, at least with that one. And a couple of them do kind of sound bad, but and that was the whole point of talking about this. Is I kind of want to go, is there supposed to be a line for comedy? I don't think there necessarily is.
South Africans know how to recycle like Israel knows how to be peaceful. Okay.
That's again, that works. I mean, how do you really argue with that?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to look through more. I can't find any more.
But I mean, the basis was they're mostly anti-Semitic, and some of them are trying to say misogynistic.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. When a woman is loved correctly, she becomes 10 times the woman she was before. To which Mr. Noah adds, so she gets fat.
He does hate on fat chicks too. That's one of his go at groups from what I read too. But it's just I like that. If it okay, do we care that the guy that's going to take over a satirical news show might have made some anti-Semitic jokes? Like, what are we worried about today? Like, you got Brian Williams literally making up shit on the news, and he just gets suspended, and we've already forgotten about it. Mm-hmm. Now this guy has a couple of tweets from 2009 that aren't PC, and people are trying to say he shouldn't get the job. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I mean, I think the issue is that we hold Jon Stewart in super high regard right now. I mean, he is almost in some ways our go-to source for logical news, and I think that people trust him and know that he is fair to minorities, to women, to different religions, and I think that people are worried that maybe we're going to lose that with Trevor Noah, because it's a liberal satirical talk show, is what it is.
But wouldn't those jokes just lend to that more? I mean,
I'm trying to think of what liberal is going, oh, well, I can't watch this guy.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing it.
I'm more worried that he's not going to be funny.
Well, and that's a whole different topic. But if you come in for David Letterman, for Jay Leno, for anybody, you're screwed. I mean, even the guy that came in for Craig Ferguson, they gave him 3 months between. They gave him a buffer. And I think that's actually really smart. And I think the Comedy Central should do the same thing. Do not just have Jon Stewart sign off and start the next one. Colbert signed off. There's not going to be anybody just jumping into that role. Right. I think that it's healthy for the show itself and for the next host, because the pressure, like you just said, Jon Stewart for 16 years held that show, whether you're liberal, conservative, whether you like the politics of it or not. A, it was funny. I don't care what your politics are. That show's funny. And B, you're right. He had a certain. I mean, he was taking the journalists to task. That was what he did. Especially Fox News. You love to go to Fox News, which is an easy target, but it was funny. And so I think that's what you need to. Let's all take a step back and go, this isn't Jon Stewart's show. This is a different show now. And that's the problem, is you put the scrutiny on this guy that is so unfair. It's a whole new show. In fact, you almost shouldn't call it The Daily Show anymore. You can't anymore after Jon Stewart. I know it was The Daily Show before him, but he made it like the Jon Stewart show. You know what I mean?
I agree. Well, the nice thing about Jon Stewart, too, even just growing up, watching him high school, college, even afterwards, too, for our age, and again, we already talked about age.
I'm a little older, guys.
Yeah, a little older. Okay, so we'll have to bridge that gap a little bit. But I think the nicest thing about it is, not only for 2 segments does he kind of rip, like you were saying, he rips the reporting of the news, right? That's his main goal, is how people are reporting these political or, socially charged topics and just taking them to town for it. He has great writing staff. It's great. But another part of that, too, is the 3rd segment's always about, he's got at least 2 authors on a week. He's got these people that don't get their prime time coverage, right? That's how I would learn about books. That's how I'd learn about these kind of progressive thoughts or these high economic theories.
Right.
I never read any of the books, but at least I know that what they're about.
Just
and
knowing that the concept is out there
exactly.
is something. It really is.
And it's such fodder for people to talk about, share about, there's this book about da-da-da-da-da. Oh, where'd you see it? I saw it on Jon Stewart last night, which is so, kind of asinine if you think about it, because who would have thought that when he first started that show, that he'd have such, like you just said, the number one place where you go to look for political news. If you told our parents' generation that, they would lose their minds, right? Because they think we're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess I'm kind of reiterating what I already said, but that's what worries me about this guy, is not that I'm going to give him a chance. I don't think these tweets should be a reflection of how he's going to perform as host, but I still want that smart comedy that's there. The Daily Show is just smart comedy, and in many ways it's so logical on the points that it makes. Whether it's liberal or not, it still has some really just inherent logic in it, and that's what I want still. I don't want to lose that as a source of
I wonder how much of that is Jon Stewart, though.
That
usually is the guy at the top of the whole thing.
I am hoping that that's what I'm hoping is, I'm okay with someone new coming in and giving a different flair to it, but I still want them to be smart. I still want them to be witty. I still want them to give that, that really interesting point of view that Jon gives. And, everyone makes stupid jokes. Every once in a while, I've made dumb jokes. This guy's no different. And Jon's made dumb jokes. But I'm just hoping that's not a complete reflection of him, and I don't think it is.
Well, and I think what you got to do is you got to take this like the Tonight Show. It's handing over the reins. Yeah. It's going to be a new style. It's going to be a new guy. Totally. And just go with that. And at best, he'll do what Jon Stewart did, and he'll still be smart and still bring that stuff. And at worst, we got to find a new Jon Stewart. But sure. I don't. It's really unfair. It's more unfair to try to get him to be the next Jon Stewart than it even is to go and analyze his tweets, which I think is super unfair as well.
I just want him to carry the legacy of what The Daily Show accomplishes as a whole.
And I guess what we're doing is we're putting the onus on Comedy Central. Are you guys smart enough to really pick the guy? Is this the guy? And we're going to find out real quick too.
Are you going to get the same quality, contributors that come in and do great, segments? That it's a lot of it is up to producers as well, and writers.
Yeah. Well, let me pose a question to you guys. Do you think they missed the boat on letting John Oliver walk? Because that show is awesome. I almost watched John
That's better
Oliver.
than Jon Stewart.
I think it's better. Yeah. And the number one reason why is, well, one, it's unfiltered because he can do it on HBO.
He lets him do anything he wants.
But 2, there's no commercials, so he can literally do an 18-minute bit where he breaks down why something's wrong, how absurdly wrong it is, what you can do what people are doing to fix it, why they're being buffered back, and how you can get involved.
And the best part is he can be bashing the biggest sponsors for most of cable.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to worry about the backlash.
Right.
And that is what makes him great. And I guarantee you, even Jon Stewart had to sometime, I guarantee you, he got calls from executives saying, ho, 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 hold on. We are making $4 million a year from that company. Let's just hold, or at least let's make sure you're right. I guarantee there's a little bit of pushback here and there, but yeah, at HBO, you can almost do whatever you want. That's why they have Vice. I mean, Vice would never work with advertising.
Yeah.
If there was an advertiser, they would be told, nope, you can't do that, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So no, that's what makes John Oliver great. And I think that is the greatest satire or satirical news show on TV.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I wonder what the timing was with that. I mean, I'm guessing, I don't know how long John has been thinking about leaving The Daily Show, but I wonder if it was kind of aligned and John Oliver got the offer to go to HBO.
Well, you got to think some Comedy Central exec is just sweating bullets over there because not only did they let John Oliver walk, then they found out Colbert is going to go and take Letterman's job, and now all of a sudden Stewart's retiring, and then that's the old guard right there, the 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
I mean, they ruled because it would be whatever their programming would be like Workaholics. South Park Workaholics, and then Jon Stewart.
Finish it with
that
them
would
too, yeah.
anchor their lineup every night. And now they don't have the 1-2 punch. I don't know who's the other guy that has the new show on there. I've watched it like once or twice, and I'm trying to give him a
the new
chance.
Comedy Central show.
Yeah, what's his name?
I
no,
just
the other
got Comedy
political.
Central again. I'm like,
Yeah, we don't even have cable, so I have to watch.
It's not the Indian guy that I can never think of his name, but he's a big contributor on The Daily Show.
Aziz Ansari.
No.
The only Indian
The
guy.
other Indian guy. No, that's racist.
I can't think of his. He was on Jon Stewart. He was a correspondent for the longest time.
Oh man, no, I can't think of him either.
I don't know, but he has his own like political show that backs it up.
the black guy.
The black guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's his
yeah.
name?
He's
It's
funny.
like,
He's a funny dude. I'll look him up.
All we know is race. We don't know anybody's name.
Yeah, well, he's.
Is it bad that I just didn't want to say like the
No,
black
just
guy?
the
I was
black-
trying to
no,
think of his
that's why I
name
threw
or
an
something
Indian guy
that
out
you
there
guys
right away.
would like.
We
You guys
had-
would know like how him.
We had a long conversation about that last week, where with criminals, why can't we describe their race anymore? On the U of M, it's like
the most obvious
he
description
was,
of anyone is their race
he
first.
He had light skin that was kind of like a wall that has no paint on it.
Yeah.
Just say he's
Just
white.
like that. Yeah.
Or, just say he's black.
It's okay. It's okay to
It's okay.
if it's a fact, and if you're not saying it is in a derogatory
derogatory
way.
way.
Like if you're not saying, he must have been black because he's so and so.
It's a description.
Right.
Exactly.
That's just a fact.
There's no connotations going into it.
fact.
It's just that's just what it is.
But I will honestly even say I appreciate the fact that you hesitated. Like that is
I
just,
was searching in my mind for a way to reference.
that's better than going the other way. You know, like
Of just-
the N-bomb guy.
Yeah.
That would have been the far other way.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, let's go real different direction, but
Okay.
still Comedy Central. The Bieber thing.
It's called the Nightly Show with Larry. Oh,
That's what we
shit.
don't know.
His
Larry
name's not
what?
even on there. Well, his name's not even on to.
It's like the nightly show, and he brings on like a block of 4 people to discuss topics. That's like 2 of the segments.
Larry Wilmore.
Larry Wilmore.
He's a funny guy.
I hate
I've
that
never
kind of.
heard that
It's
name.
like the who's the guy that's on HBO? That's like the very liberal guy.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher. Yeah, that's how he kind of does it too. I'd rather watch Bill Maher. I mean, whatever you think about his liberal stances.
Yeah,
I'd rather
he's-
watch him do his monologue and then kind of be done with it. Because usually the people that are talking are 2 of them are pills and 1 of them's actually got a good take. It's like watch that take and then move on. So
Did you say pills?
pills.
I
Yeah,
like
that's an old
such a
person's term.
pill.
It's just such a pill.
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna bring that back.
That is still one of the best shows, though, at that style.
Oh,
if you're
definitely.
going to do that round table thing,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so oh my God, did we have a round table in here the other day? Dubé, the boss, Sean Bernard, screaming back and forth about how Obamacare and basically Dubé saying all liberals fucking suck.
Oh, no.
And liberals
Oh, no.
are what's wrong with this country.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if you know Sean's politics at all, but that didn't sit too well. So these guys are just screaming back and forth, and and they're not screaming. I mean, they're respectful of each other, but it was just they're not getting anywhere. And I'm just going, oh my god. And this, I mean, 7 years ago, I'd have been in the middle of that, just screaming at both of them too. Like I would have been so into it, and
Yeah.
now I'm just like repulsed and going, guys, can we go to break? Seriously, ready for break yet? Like this is so bad.
Take a break. Take a
Like
break.
I just don't want
You
to
sound
hear
like
that.
Bill Clinton when you do that.
Well, he did a Bill Clinton too. Bernard did his
Nice.
little.
That's
I don't know if catchphrase right now off the top of my head. Damn it! By the way, I have
I did
a.
not have sexual relations with that woman.
Depends on what the meaning of is.
The one time that you and I, we've had about 2 episodes now where we've had a little more heated political discussions, but I think they've always been great.
Yeah, they're respectful, and I think I hope they kind of go somewhere.
I hope they're interesting, right? Yeah. And I hope they go somewhere. But the one time we had it, and Dubé was sitting behind us, he started yelling at me. He was like, Obamacare sucks. You know, he like got right in there as an audience member. And I was like, oh, just
throwing out those conservative talking points. That's always fun. That's always fun.
Anyway.
Yeah. But the point of that being is those shows would be good if you can actually have a dialogue. But if you are an ideologue, there's no dialogue. Right. I mean, and there isn't. So stop. Just stop trying. I had so many years of screaming at people in bars and at home and wherever and trying to convince them that I was right, just to realize years later that I was the one that was wrong. And most of the people that are doing that screaming at people, if they would look at themselves in the mirror really hard, they would probably stop screaming real quickly too. Right. So I wish you could make that show and force everyone to actually listen and not just wait to speak and not just go, I've already got this point and this is what I'm getting across, even though that guy just made a really good point that totally fucks my point up. Just, if they would listen, it would be great. But that show doesn't exist. I've never seen that show. No. Have you seen a political show where they actually talk?
Yeah, I mean, I think on PBS there are those roundtable shows, and I think they're really fucking boring.
Well, right, because they... Because you know what? The people that are willing to have that conversation are boring fucking people. Sure. They're not opinionated enough. They're not. They're
not going to pay them to be there.
Right. You get it on NPR. You get it on.
I mean, that's how CNN, PBS. Fox News, CSNBC, or MSNBC. That's how they operate, right? Sure. They get a bunch of people that are what do you say? Ideologues. Ideologues. I like that term. Ideologues, and they put them on the split screens, the 4 screens, and then they just throw out topics that they know they're not going to agree on, and they're like,
and you have 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, and then and then
they're all they're all waiting for the pause. Yeah. They're all like, they're like, all right, we're going to take a break.
And then Hannity just yells them down anyway. And so what's the fucking point? No, and that's there's why I don't watch any of those channels anymore. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch any of that stuff.
For your blood pressure, man.
There's nothing to gain from
for your blood pressure.
But that's the beauty of this age, right? We can go out and find that information ourselves. And I think that's why I don't even want to say generation, but people that live in this time now are so much better informed. I mean, if you read Reddit every day, it's the dumbest. I would say 90% of it is super dumb, right?
Right.
But then you can get those little blurbs of news from all around the world, right?
That's Twitter.
All of a sudden,
Twitter's the same thing.
Twitter's the same thing, right? You read 3 websites a day, you have substantially more information than you ever have if you read the Star Trib front to back. Yeah. I mean, I believe, and I don't want to knock the Star Trib because I actually really like it, but
you're right.
It's the same thing.
Totally, it's a lot of different views, and you do have to sift through kind of what's and what's legitimate and what's not. But the good thing is that there is a lot out there, and there is a lot out there that is legitimate. And I don't agree. I heard this on the radio last week, and I won't say which radio station, specific morning show said that
bring it. Let's
they
go.
were worried about us millennials not. I think you could be considered a millennial. I think
I'm like on the cusp.
Mid-30s,
yep.
Sure. Not caring and being not asking questions and just not giving a shit about anything. And that is not what I see within my friends. And I don't know if it's where we live, and I don't know if it's my friends, but I don't see that.
What, are they basing this on by like network newscasts not being viewed anymore? Like that's not how you he just said it's not how we get our news anymore. Yeah.
I think it's the common issue of as you get older, you get more worried about the generation before you. I don't know.
There's that. I do know a bunch of dumb people that are young. I mean, there's a bunch of dumb young people that don't care. That's true, but I think every generation has always said that. And are we them then? Like, were we considered dumb back then, but now we're not? I mean, I don't know how that necessarily works, but I think that is just a general. It's like music. And do we get to that? We talked about the generational thing where your generation's music is awesome, and the next generation music always sucks.
Yeah.
That proves that the music doesn't suck. It's just that we get older and we think that. Yeah. And I think that's the same thing with this news thing and being informed.
Well, we always think we're the best
more
generation.
Informed
and the best and making the best decisions and doing the right things. And that's not always true because you know what? We're doing okay.
No, but I think that if you're a baby boomer and you grew up with 3 channels and you had the daily and the nightly paper, and that was how you got your news, I think you actually felt like you were more informed because it was so you knew exactly where to go and it was laid out in front of you and this is what's going on, which was actually even scarier because they could really just tell you, here's the template, here's what we tell you to believe is going on.
Manipulation,
and now we are actually way more informed. And I think we also don't give a shit. I think maybe that's actually it too.
Yeah.
They wanted us to be invested in this bullshit scheme that we all kind of just went, not so interested anymore. Like I don't watch local news because somebody being murdered in Northeast Minneapolis or whatever neighborhood, I don't even mean to pick on a neighborhood, that doesn't even affect me.
Yeah.
But if I sit and listen to how oh my God, the stray bullet hit the 4-year-old, and then now I'm going, now the fears, that's all it is. They're trying to make you scared to go outside, and the whole point is to make you watch again tomorrow night.
Sure.
So that get out of that cycle. And you're out. I honestly, I don't need a local newscaster in my life.
As long as you can sift through what's legit and what's not, and I think back to your point about people growing up as baby boomers, they did have legitimate newscasters and they did have legitimate journalists. I mean, Walter Cronkite, these people that I idolized as a journalist or going through journalism school, like that was who we learned that asked the good questions and that asked the right questions and
but
hard
don't you
questions.
think with so few avenues for the information to get out that Cronkite and those guys could editorialize the shit out of it
Totally.
if they wanted to? I'm not even
Totally.
accusing them of it, but they had the power
Totally.
to.
I don't think that was the case back then. I think now, absolutely, like people editorialize the shit
And
out
so
of
that's
stuff.
why we think millennials don't give a shit, because millennials are going, what you guys think is important isn't, and they're right. That's the thing.
I guess.
Well, I think, the biggest thing with millennials, I don't even know if this switches gears even, but we've seen, even in my life, obviously the crash of 2007.
2008
Yeah,
or 2009,
whatever.
Whatever
was.
you want to call that.
Whatever
Whatever
it was.
year it started, right when we were
So
in
long
college.
ago.
Yeah, so long ago. But we see, we read. I think even that is a huge focal point for at least me getting involved in news, because you have to be well informed, right? You have to read about these things. You got to make up your own opinions, because no matter what, as an adult, when I have kids, I'll probably shove down my beliefs down their throat, right? But
Yeah.
they're
That's
gonna
your
have
job
so
as a
many-
parent, damn it.
Exactly, is to show them that, hey, I picked a pretty awesome way. You should follow this way, right? Otherwise, you're totally lost, and you'll never get to anywhere. But now we have all these avenues to find news. It's like, well, I don't have to believe what you're saying. I don't even have to believe what he's saying. I don't even have to believe what that guy's saying, the president, if I don't want to, because I believe all these other different trains of thoughts that I can read up on. Same thing with religion. Same thing with anything that's going to, socially charge you to be different, right? Which is awesome. That the more you know, hopefully, the more well-rounded and the more accepting you'll be of other things, right?
You know what? To that point, if my mom, I think this would be true, if my mom watched the HBO documentary on Scientology, I think she would go, holy shit, this existed and I didn't know about this and this is going on. I think a millennial is going, yeah, no shit, not a cult. On to the next.
Weird.
Just like Christianity and Islam. Like, all right, on to the next. Like, they wouldn't, it's so... It's that old style of we thought the older people think they knew what was going on, and I think younger people know we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so we don't put as much stock into any of it. Like you're saying too. That's where I'm not conservative liberal anymore. I like that fact. That's and you do kind of pick them too. I'll be honest about that. You pick your facts. You go that makes sense to me, and I trust that source. And I'm going to put it with this fact because it comes from a different political source, which then I can also, then I know it's not bullshit if I can get it from both sides and all that. And that's how I get news now, and that's
Sure.
what makes it more
It's
reliable.
It's
I
taking
think
it from a lot of different sources and kind of forming it into your own.
Yeah.
your
yeah,
own
it's like you
idea.
do the math on it basically.
Yeah. And even to your point too. So, I think we've shown that, liberal, conservative, whatever you want to be, right? I don't think there's these huge dividing lines anymore for our generations, because we know that if you want to be Democrat or Republican or independent, whatever, the system's broken anyways. So it's not even going to matter. It doesn't matter who
You guys can talk all day
who
about
you
it.
can, who you can vote. I mean, I think we don't have to go down that tangent, but local politics, sure. You want to be invested in it. You want to know who your local area
Definitely.
lawmakers are who are making who are passing the litigation that's going to personally affect you.
And
right?
you can literally go
Yeah.
up to them and tell them, I don't like this.
Exactly, and you can try to sway with which opinion you're going to go.
Yeah.
But for a national scale, system, it doesn't take any bearing. He's like, "Are you Democrat?" It's like I don't even think about it, because I choose to believe these things based on these facts that I've gathered that are kind of all across the board, right? But since like the shooting in Northeast example from a couple minutes ago, it doesn't have a bearing on my day-to-day life. So why would I get that invested with it? Why would it control how I view people, or rather get me into arguments with people when really we could just have a beer and just relax?
Whenever I've had
I think our generation's just like this.
Yeah,
What
kind
else?
of.
I'm doing the peace signs,
Yeah.
guys. I mean, I think we like to have really, I don't know, like positive discourse with each other. I don't know. That's what I see is people like to talk and people like to communicate in our
I
generation.
think we want to grow.
I think we do.
When we yell at each other. And honestly, because honestly,
hope
just
so.
yelling at each other is fucking
I hope
annoying,
so.
and you just burn a bunch of calories for no reason.
Yes, and
if
that
you
is-
yell at each
yes.
other and you walk away, and even if you don't at the time, but you walk away and you go, maybe she was right about that. That at least you open your mind a little bit.
Sure.
That I can get.
That is my goal for our generation, is to keep our minds open, to keep new ideas coming in, and to not ever become apathetic to life in
Yes.
general. Just to fucking care about something. Just care. That's what I hope.
And I think to your point too, a bit about we were fed this thing, I think, for so many years in this country, where it was the right is way the fuck over here and the left is way the fuck over here.
Yep.
And there is no middle. And if you're in the middle, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. If you're in the middle, there's something wrong with you. That
And
was
you'll get
what
ran out
both
of your
sides
party.
would say
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
98% of everyone I've ever met is in the middle.
Yeah.
They're pro legalization
Absolutely.
of marijuana, but they go to church every Sunday, and they're anti high taxes, but they still are all about. They always pay theirs, and they're always all about the public school system. Like you can be part of all of these things, and you don't have to. They want to pigeonhole you into these groups to pit you against each other, and that's what I think we're really talking about right now. Is it's really hard to do that now with our access to information. You don't just get to have the Star Tribune be the liberal paper and the Pioneer Press be the conservative paper, and that's what you get, Twin
Sure.
Cities. There's your info. No,
Right.
now there's the middle, there's the right, there's the left, there's all kinds of angles.
I completely agree. It's just the most important thing is now that as our generation starts getting older and as we start getting elected to office, is that we don't continue this trend of Congress not reflecting what the actual demographics are. Is because we know that we're all probably pretty much in the middle and very reasonable people. Congress isn't reasonable. Congress is over here and over here. The goal now is to get back in the middle. How do we do that?
Get the incumbents out.
There you go.
All of the
There we go. That's what I'm
incumbents.
saying.
Every single
Get-
one of them.
Get
And
new
get the
people
money
in.
out.
And get
And
the money
figure
out.
out a way to get the money out. And I don't even
how
want to
you-
try to go down that because we don't have enough time in this show. But I honestly, and people used to always say that to me. They just get the money out. And I bought the conservative line or the Limbaugh line or whoever the hell I was feeding into at that point that said that money is speech. And I understood what they mean, too. Like, if I want to spend $2,000 to go toward a TV ad for my candidate, that's me speaking to the public. So I understand where they're coming from. But when you have a nation that's run by corporations now, it is
God.
purely money.
Oh my God.
Like,
Yeah.
it's purely
All money.
money influence
guys.
that runs the country now.
Go back to, God, I wish I could remember the episode name. We've talked about this a lot. You should go back and listen. Go back and listen, guys.
Go back and listen to all 37 previous episodes.
We talk about
actually.
corporate money a lot.
Yeah, and we are anti it always too. Fucking pricks. All right, we'll come back in a minute. We got to take our last break, and then we'll talk music, and because Molly almost just wants to hear us talk about rap.
I
Yeah,
think it's
I'm down.
fascinating.
Yeah, no,
I think it's fascinating.
I think it will be fun too. We'll come back and we'll do it right here on the Minnesota Pubcast.
With Suhan Unfiltered, sports columnist for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, Jim Suhan presents in-depth conversations with the best writers and sports personalities in the area. Suhan brings professional journalism flavor without the verbal censoring. Find out what unfiltered really means. Only on the Alive and Social Network. SuhanUnfiltered.com. The term foodie can sometimes come across as a tickle pretentious. BT and Lydia are here to demystify the term and reclaim it for the sake of good food. Their weekly podcast brings in fellow foodies and culture creators from the Twin Cities to talk about all things food. Find this duo only on the Alive and Social Network.
Ain't no way to explain or say.
This is perfect.
I don't know if it fits the weather right now, but
I love this song.
It fits the day, though. How about that?
Yeah.
is Atmosphere going to be at Nurse Fest?
They will not.
You like how I worded that too?
I
Is that,
like that.
is that
I
the
like
right way
that.
to?
We'll see. How about that? I'd love that, man.
If Slug would just actually seriously
Show
show
up.
up for a
Show
minute,
up.
that would actually be
That would
fucking
be
awesome.
awesome.
Do they even live here anymore?
I don't know.
I've heard they live in L.A. more often than they live here.
You know, I think they're pretty separate. Obviously, this is just conjecture of what I've read over the past couple years. But I think Slug lives here with his wife, somewhere in South Minneapolis, I'd imagine. I don't know about Ant, though.
And her name is not Lucy Ford, for any of you who are dumb. All right. Look, just it came up earlier, and she and I have talked about this, too, I think, a little bit. And I love to rail against new hip-hop.
Okay.
So I as somebody who's a little bit younger than me and still likes hip-hop, who are you listening to these days, even? Like, what's good right now? If there's good hip-hop out there.
The new Kendrick album is
I've heard good things. I haven't heard it at all yet.
But
I like Kendrick Lamar. I can get down with Kendrick Lamar.
And you're really good about like getting the good shit out there.
Yeah.
Like whether it's
Thank you, Molly.
Spotify
That's
or
so
whatever,
nice to
like
hear.
you're good at it.
Yeah, I put it out a little bit. That's probably the number one social media I go through. I really like Kendrick Lamar. I'm a huge fan of Drake. I'm going to Governor's Ball in New York City in June.
I got a friend that goes to that every year, and I want to get out there so
I
bad.
know. I'm so pumped. So I'm a huge Drake fan. J. Cole's new album that came out at the end of last year, I'm a big fan of. I'm trying to think of anyone else that you guys would. I love Run the Jewels. I don't know if you're a Killer Mike fan from way back in the day.
Our other favorite guest, Jerry, is a big Run the Jewels fan.
Another guy that's that's affiliated with this show that loves new hip hop.
So I guess explain to me where did you see it derail, and why do you think it's not as good?
Do you
anymore?
remember what I think I called a specific album, like the end of hip hop recently?
After Kanye West's first album.
Yeah, the College Dropout. I was like, that's it. That's
So we
it.
gotta go back
It
to
ended after
03?
that. Yeah,
03? That's where we gotta
it
go.
might not have even been that late. Yeah, and here's. I mean, I went to every hip hop show in town from 1995 to 2003. I mean, I like my favorites were The Roots and Talib Kweli and Mos Def, and I mean, I saw Wu-Tang multiple times. I mean, I was into all that old school hip hop, that kind of hip hop, and that lyrical hip hop too. Like, I was never into beats. I mean, like I honestly didn't even like the first Wu-Tang album from like 94 to 97 because I wasn't sophisticated enough to like it.
Right. Yeah.
I just heard the beats and I went, oh, I don't feel that. Like the beats were so raw and weird and rugged, and they weren't meant for you to just bob your head to a beat. It was, these are just to put here for the lyrics. And then once you hear the lyrics, you're like, oh my God, this music is insane. So I'm a lyrical hip hop guy, and I'm all about, like Mood, even like if you're familiar with Mood, which is like Talib Kweli did an album with them before they got popular. But Mood that's a Cincinnati group. I recommend checking them out.
Yeah.
But eventually, I guess I was hoping like the Roots would catch on more with their style of going live instrument hip hop, and then that never really happened. And then it just like
and look where they are now.
well, yeah, and all they got was on the
though.
Tonight Show. It didn't really work out for them, poor guys. But it just that's actually interesting too. That would have never happened 20 years ago. They would have never even considered a hip hop group being the jam band on a late night show.
Absolutely not.
And but that to me, that almost is like making my point in a way. That like hip hop has almost gone to like it's like the old music
Are you
now.
saying it's
you know what I
pussified?
mean? Am I saying it's what?
Pussified.
Yeah.
God, I can't say that about the Roots. No, there's no way I can say that about the Roots. That would be sacrilegious. Yeah. But so I don't know. I feel like it went poppy. I feel like Lil Wayne. I can't listen to any of that shit.
Yeah.
Even I don't know if I get down with Drake. I don't know if I like Drake. I guess I haven't given much of a chance though either.
Well, to your point too, a lot of and I'm with you. It's there's a real difference because rap's studio music, right? So a lot of people that love rap, like there's certain artists that I can listen to the studio version of them, right? I've seen a ton of rap, like you said. I've been just as many shows probably from 2004 to now, and you get there and. One of my favorite shows, even though it was an awful show, it was like the most bittersweet show. It was 2 Chainz last year at Sunset, right? It was awful. He had a DJ go up, put on his songs, and he would rap like half of it and just like jam out with the crowd.
And he didn't even have like a guy doing the rest of the lyrics
no,
for him?
No.
Like, oh,
He I don't know if you guys have heard the
Jesus.
song "Fucking Problems." You know what the song I'm talking
have.
about?
Right.
The hook. Can I sing the hook? Can I swear? on
Absolutely.
here?
For sure.
Yeah. The hook is I love bad bitches. That's my fucking problem. I know. What is
That's
I
it.
forget
That's the hook.
Love bad bitches. That's my fucking problem. And yeah, I like to fuck. That's a fucking problem. Something like that.
Yeah,
it's like the
that's
most
it.
simple verse ever. He put the back meat on. That's the only part he sings the song. It's just that hook, and it's that repeated twice.
That's my fucking problem.
Yeah.
That's my fucking problem.
Yeah. And he didn't even sing it. He was just like, yeah.
No.
I was like, that is so
No.
freaking funny. So from, and I'm with you. But so to get back to my point, though, So some rappers, when they go up and they do that, I hate it live, right? Like
It's
J. Cole,
so
I
fucking
saw him last year.
embarrassing.
He had a 12-piece band behind him.
Now
He had
that's cool.
a stand-up bass. He had a guy on a full drum kit, plexiglass in. He had 2 female backup singers. He had a guy playing bass guitar, lead guitarist, one guy scratching. Like, it was unbelievable, and it sounded so good. Every time I've seen Jay-Z, he's got a backing band. So Eminem last summer had a full back.
I heard even Deltron was doing that.
Exactly. Like, you have to have that now. Otherwise, there's no heart in the music. It just doesn't come through. The
Okay,
same
so
way,
now
right?
and then here's where I always wanted that to go. I wanted it to be like jazz. I wanted it to be free flowing, and even like some of the greatest hip hop beats where they even have like a guitar or like a real instrument involved. They never let the guy play a little. Like, go even my favorite thing to see would be a live instrument and a rapper and the instrument going with them, and they're both kind of like freestyling together. And I don't know if that's not possible or if that's really hard or why I haven't really seen that.
Yeah.
But I never feel like I get that jazz flow in a hip hop show, even with the live backers. Have you seen more of that? Are they kind of working into that?
Obviously, you have to be a little bit more established to pay for a full backing band to ride
Especially
with
a good
you,
one.
you know, and especially a good one with you. But even like Rhyme Series, their music so much emulates like a jazz R&B with
does.
beats over the top of it, right? Like J. Cole, a lot of his last album sounds so. It is very jazzy. Like Kendrick's album is so Marvin Gaye jazzy, like very, very 70s. Like it's an awesome album in that respect too. But if I can even back up further. So from my perspective, when you said that 2003 kind of the die of hip hop, I would agree. The 03, even 2000 through 2009 is a pretty bad period of music. Because what you saw was this gangster rap area that totally burnt out. Everyone got so burnt out, even as a white guy.
To the window, to the wall.
Oh God.
Sorry.
No, I'm with you. I'm like,
Well, the
was
club
right
hit still
The
worked.
club hits, yeah,
Oh,
the
that actually
bangers
still
were
was working.
awesome, yeah.
Unfortunately, Jesus.
They're pushing out this great
It was
throwaway
so
music.
fucking bad
Yeah.
though. But
No, it was awesome. It was great. It was great for our generation because that's what we grew up on. But if you
Oh my
really
God.
enjoyed rap music, it got hard to listen to. Like, I loved 50 Cent when he came out. My little brother Sebi loves G Unit, right? But, as we get older, all of a sudden I'm sitting in my Saturn View on Highway 100 in dead stop traffic, and I'm just banging G Unit, like singing Beg for Mercy and all this like drug, gun running, misogynistic music. And you pull up next to like a nice old Chinese lady, you look over and you're like, God, I am like the biggest wigger. Right? So it got hard to relate to, but I think, and the one pitch I'll leave with you is that I think music in the last 5 years, especially the rappers, they're a little bit younger and they don't identify with this gang banging, drug dealing. Like none of them have done it, right? So they don't rap about it. They don't pretend to be what they're not anymore, which has come through. There's a lot more soul in their music because you can see that they're not lying anymore.
I think that maybe the savior or the saving grace of hip hop could be just like this, where now anybody can make music. I think that the biggest thing you saw, even from like 95 to 2005 in hip hop, was it was run by 4 companies that were telling you what to produce. I mean, and it was gangsta. That was what it was all about. Gangsta rap. And, and it worked. It even produced really good music for a while, when you had Tupac and Biggie doing their thing. But eventually and again, too, like even with Snoop Dogg and all that stuff and NWA and all that, it was like watching a movie. It was like watching Boys in the Hood, but listening to it.
Yeah.
But then you grow up, or not even necessarily grow up, but kind of like what you're saying though too, where you're sitting there and you're listening to this and you're like, this has nothing to do with me. Why would I be listening to this in traffic?
Well,
People are looking at me like, what am I doing? I don't relate to it at all,
exactly.
But now I think you're starting to get, these people are they're producing art again.
Yeah.
And now you can, it's relatable again.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest problem with hip hop from those years that we've mentioned. It wasn't relatable
it wasn't
at all
relatable
anymore.
to the white kid.
You can't be
What?
the middle class white kid.
Hold on.
From
No,
the burbs,
you're right. You're right. Hold on. I got to really step back a second here. Because this is what was funny for all of us white kids in the burbs listening to Wu-Tang Clan. We had zero struggle in our lives. So we were trying to find some. So it was like watching the movie, but we were like, we'll emulate these guys, and we threw out the N-bomb. Like we called each other that, and we thought that was cool. Like, God, we were fucking morons. But that was just
so
as
bad.
no, but it was just as common as saying, "Oh, that's fucking gay." The exact same.
Sure.
Like it was just, it was just, "Hey, what up, bro?" Like it was the exact same to say that, only with that word, which I don't even want to say. But but that was it was so. it was an escape, and it was like, and we knew it was bullshit, you know. And then we started to recognize the art of it. You know, we got past the the gangsta rap part of it, and then it became, like I said, like Talib Kweli and Mos Def, where it's all lyrical and it's knowledge and it's deep.
It's cool.
And that's where it went somewhere.
They're tying in a concept from the past album that they're referencing from a past song that you all of a sudden, when you hear the next album, you're like, oh, he's referencing this jam, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, that's why you get into music. It's like, oh, hell yeah. Like, yeah, I know. Oh, you don't know this because this, and this. It's like, it's how you tie into the music. But I think anyone that likes hip hop, or it like identifies with it, because it's probably a majorative form of music I listen to, is I just love the beat. I love the way it makes me feel. I don't agree with everything I'm listening to lyric-wise, but I don't think that's the point of music. It's just, it's the way that makes you feel. It's the way you kind of identify with it. And until it changes, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
I think.
And you're not going to relate to everything 100%, whether it's bluegrass or whether it's like hard rock or, you know, or electronica. It's never 100%. It's just a matter of how it makes you feel. So.
Can I pose a question for you guys?
For sure.
Do you guys think that? Oh, we don't.
Yeah, there's new closing music, but you got a second. What do you got?
I was gonna say, do you guys think that people's musical tastes have grown since now we have availability of everything? I think people's musical
we just talked
library-
about this. Listen to our podcast from last week, and we think that now with the ability, as we just discussed, with the ability to like access so many different sources, whether it's Spotify or SoundCloud or just YouTube or so many different places now, you can access amazing music and you can make amazing music. That doesn't mean everyone's talented. It means that everyone has access to make really good music. And I think that is make this generation awesome for our musical tastes. And
I knew
where
you
it's
weren't
moving.
ready for our new close, so it already went out. But that is our new close. Do you like it? Do you know the song?
Can we play it again?
Yeah, I'll play it again. Hold on.
I'm like, can we play it
I only
again?
have a little bit of it, just for playing numbers like that.
Oh, is this
Yep.
RDD?
Sorry.
Oh, I just said it.
Yeah.
You said it, and I was like, this is RDD.
Ghost
right?
Rider. RDD.
Yeah, I love RDD.
I just think it's a great close. It's that those horns going out. All right. Well. Oh wow. Wow. You hated that fucking details.
No, I love the
Yeah,
results.
so
But I
much.
think this is a really appropriate way to change things up.
And I actually do think it fits our show much better. I agree. All right. Well, nursefest.com. Anything else?
Support the Kickstarter. See you guys on the show.
Awesome. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night.